Crazy Crazies. Would you recognize Jim Morrison? Want to play a game? Jim? Crazy Crazies. Would they recognize Freddie Mercury? Is this the real life? Dun 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 dun. Want to play a game? Ready, Freddie? Pause. Crazy Crazies. Would you recognize Michael Jackson? Is this the real life Thriller? Want to play a game? Pause. Michael? Is this the real life Thriller? Want to play a game? Pause. Everyone I'm tributing right now, up to now, Jim Morrison, Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson, if they were sitting here with me right now in this position, they wouldn't even notice. They choose not to. Crazy Crazies. Would you recognize Screaming Jay Hawkins? Is this the real life I'll put a spell on you? Want to play a game? Screaming Jay Hawkins, sir. Want to play a game? Is this the real life I'll put a spell on you? Want to play a game? Pause. Most of the moving adult society wouldn't notice anything at all if they were paid to. Crazy Crazies. Would you recognize Paul Simon? Is this the real life of spelling? The people about to break to me, I'm getting made in the sound of silence. Want to play a game? Pause. Paul Simon. Want to play a game? Paul Simon is 83, a town to Trey, and I question this not just for one day, for many years. If Paul Simon was sitting exactly where I am right now, maybe without disguise, quoting his own text, maybe drinking a beer, maybe taking a smoke, maybe not. Maybe drinking this, maybe drinking that, maybe smoking this, maybe smoking that. I can't be sure what Paul Simon smokes or drinks. But if he was actually sitting here now as an older man, quoting his own text, occasionally picking up his instrument and saying, and the people bowed and prayed to when the young God they made, how many of them would notice? Up to now, out of the artists I mentioned, the only living artist up to now. So if Paul Simon was exactly in my position right now, maybe in disguise, maybe or not, maybe not, would they actually notice? Or Jim Morrison, or Freddie Mercury, or Michael Jackson? Would they? Crazies. Would you recognize John Lennon? Is this the real life robot spelling? People are praising, but it makes sounds. People say I'm crazy watching the wheels. Imagine. Want to play a game, John? Pause. So how about if John Lennon was sitting here? Would they recognize? Would they recognize Jim Morrison if Jim Morrison was sitting where I am right now? Would they? Would they recognize Freddie Mercury if he was sitting here right now? Would they? Would they recognize Michael Jackson? Would they? Would they recognize Paul Simon? Would they? Would they recognize Rewind? Would they recognize Screaming Jay Hawkins if he was here right now? Would they? Would they recognize John Lennon? Would they? My experience is this, that actually, no, they wouldn't. Crazies. Would you recognize the Scorpions? Is this the real life robot spelling? You've been about to breathe when you're going to make sounds. People say I'm crazy watching the wheels. Imagine listening to the wind of change. Want to play a game? Pause. And all of the artists I'm tributing right now, I can guarantee anyone who watches this far into this video, which I created randomly selected codes and No Way Out Crazy Crazies, right here 3 years ago, the song No Way Out Crazy Crazies, inspired by a Market Traders t-shirt that said No Way Out. And I created randomly selected codes in January on Via Toledo. Every artist that I mentioned in tributes during the ultimate tribute and randomly selected codes, I guarantee that it is true that if they were sitting here with me or in my position, they wouldn't even acknowledge it. And they're doing exactly the same now as they've done for many years. Their refusal to acknowledge compassion or art. They refuse to even acknowledge it. Is this the real life robot spelling? People about breeze when you're going to make sounds. People saying crazy watching the wheels. Imagine window change. Want to play a game? Of course, I'm tributing everyone these artists work with too. So now the list of everyone including in Thriller, everyone including The Doors, everyone included in Queen, and every single artist they worked with. And this is their response. Crazies. Would you recognize Big Mama Fonsa? Want to play a game? Is this the real life robot spelling? You've been about to praise when you're going to make sounds. People saying crazy watching the wheels. Imagine window change. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. And bow wow to you too. Happy reality day, child of reality. Big Mama Thornton. Oh, Portal of Cinquantadue, Bambini. Crazies. Would you recognize Elvis? Is this the real life robot spelling? You've been about to praise when you're going to make sounds. People saying crazy watching the walls. Imagine when you change. Ain't nothing but a hound dog and bow wow to you too. And I just can't help believing. Every single artist I'm mentioning right now in the Ultimate Tribute, I guarantee once again it's true. If they were sitting where I am right now, they'd check the ground and keep walking. Amazing Crazies. Would you recognize Johnny Cash? Is this the real life throw part spouting the peanut butter braid spinning and making sounds? People say I'm crazy watching the wheels. Imagine wind of change. Ain't nothing but a hound dog. Oh, I just can't help believing and bow wow to you too. Feel the diamonds in the sky. Silent beauty shining high. Of the maze they're trapped inside, there appears to be no way out. Of the haze in which they can find, there appears to be no way out. God bless.